Good morning, okay. It's 7:34. Happy Tuesday to you. The sweet sounds of Brett Tomberlin right there. Brett joins us in the studio. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey guys. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Absolutely doing well. You've got a lot going on. You're doing things, but you're from North Carolina, but you live in L.A., but you lived out in Albemarle, so that's a little bit of ways from Lake Norman, but you're a North Carolina guy. How did you get into being a music artist? Because you've got songs coming out. We're going to go through all this stuff. Obviously, I'm just rambling at this point, but what was the moment that you said, man, I think I could like sing music professionally? What was that moment?
Yeah, well, I think you got to be a little bit crazy to think that in general. But no, I grew up, born and raised here in North Carolina, and both of my parents were in the gospel space, and grew up singing in church with them. And, this was always around music growing up, and grew up in a music family, and my little sister sings as well. And just, that kind of grew up in that household. And then I joined the Army at 17, and I just played sports growing up. Joined the Army at 17, was gone for about 6 years, and after I got out is when I started kind of falling back in love with music. Started being around people that were doing it for a living, and just kind of be like, oh man, these people. This is, you grow up in a small town, and sometimes certain things aren't as realistic, and then you get around people that are doing it, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on, I want to try this thing out, and just started meeting people. God just kept putting people in my life, I feel like, that were doing music, and I, just fell in love with it, started, getting better at songwriting, and just kind of being around, just trying to be a tool, to learn from people, and then got into it from there after I moved to LA for acting. Yeah.
I'll say thank you for your willingness to serve at 17 years old.
Absolutely.
I mean, my gosh, that's part of the reason why we're able to just even talk on these microphones every day. You're able to sing and go around or act or do all the different fun things you get to do. So we're grateful for that. And your willingness to it.
I learned from a lot of really talented and brave guys that they're the guys you make the movies about, but I was just happy to learn from them. So,
but
yeah.
you have done been in the movie scene too. Like, what's that like? And you like the business side of it, like learning and the growing, and because that's a lot of work. That's work.
Too.
That's
I know.
work.
Man,
Hollywood
it's a
is about
crazy
as
industry.
far as possible as you can get. I feel like sometimes from North Carolina.
Yeah, from Locust, North Carolina,
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a pace change. Yeah,
Yeah.
We went from 2 stoplights to but no, it is crazy. I think the cool thing about LA is you realize kind of what's possible. But I think it's super important. I'm very thankful for being from Carolina and a lot of small towns that keeps you grounded, and just kind of gives you a base of like kind of having that identity of like just talk to people like people. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do for a living. People are just people, and they just want to, like, if you're not a good hang, just treat people like people, and work will be work, but just treat everything the same. And I think that's done well.
You've got a new song coming out, so give us the details on the new jam you've got coming.
Yeah, man. So this next one we got coming out is called Just Got Paid. We're gonna drop it on September 19th. It is a kind of a 90s country, kind of fun honky tonk vibe to it, with kind of a Luke Combs songwriting style with more of a Midland flair to it. Got some fiddle in it. Got a nice little steel guitar solo. So kind of, I love that it's coming back a little bit more. Just kind of like traditional sound. And I love it. It's stuff we all grew up on, and just I love kind of paying homage to the greats that kind of shape country music for us, and looking forward to putting that out, and got a couple more coming out behind it, and just ready to get it rolling, man. Yeah.
As far as like studio versus like live, right? That's got to be a difference even in of itself. Do you really like the studio? Do you love the studio? Like able to really work on a song and like be a part of it and all that?
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. You want to get humbled. You go from singing in the car to singing on stage. That is a much different beast. But in the studio is a skill in itself. You gotta work that just like any other muscle, and you get used to hearing your voice and all the little tiny details of it you don't get when you're singing other places. But there's a lot of cool stuff about that, and I love the art of it, just really kind of bringing the musicians in and getting that live feel to it. I think that's a big thing that I love about country music, is that you really get the performance aspect of it and the personability of it.
So LA, right? Like, is the food scene like as great as everybody? Like, you can get anything you could imagine under the sun at any moment of the day.
Yeah, I guess that is a really good perk of it. There's a lot of downsides to being in LA. It's a crazy town, but there is about any type of food you can think of. You can go find it if you're willing to drive. It's pretty spread out, but I big sushi guy, so I like going to find different stuff. So yeah.
You should check out the Southern Shrimp Alliance. They got
There
some
you
stuff
go.
going on
There
here.
you go.
Southern Shrimp Alliance.
I'm working on joining it. I'll let you know whenever it happens.
The guild.
Yes. I'm trying to get in the Southern Shrimp Alliance. If you know anybody, let me know.
When you come back to North Carolina like this, like what's that feeling like for you? Do you spend a lot of time here still, or is it mostly LA? Give me like kind of the back and forth.
Oh man, I got to come here to keep my sanity, man. Yeah, I love getting home any chance I can, and my little sister just transferred to UNCC, and I flew home and surprised her for her first day over there. It's always good to come back home. I feel like I need to come back home to recharge. I feel like if you're a certain person, you're used to a certain pace or just a certain type of way of living, you got to come back home and recharge. It really keeps you grounded. And I feel like if you don't do that, you tend to kind of get lost in the sauce a little bit. It's always good to come back to your roots. So back and forth from LA and Nashville a lot, but you got to come out and just get to where you don't hear traffic and sirens every once in a while and craziness.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this or not, but you work security too? Like that you do more like that stuff as well?
I do, man. Yeah. You got the day job, you're in the grind. And,
it's not all magic.
Yeah. It's definitely not. You get the highlight reel on social media, but I do private security for a few clients, coming from working around the special operations background. Thankfully I was able to kind of get a job that paid the bills in between gigs and in between acting and music. So I do private security for a few higher profile clients in Beverly Hills, and it's cool. You're in the mix, around these type of people even when you're not working. So it's good. It's not just like a random corporate client. It's good to be around that even when you're not around it. It kind of gets you used to those conversations and just kind of makes you feel like you're still in the game even though I'm doing the day job. Thankfully it's not. I used to bartend, used to do all this stuff. This is like a little bit more just kind of like adjacent to what I'm doing. So, yeah.
So when you moved out to LA, you said it was for acting or was it for music?
It was for acting. Yeah.
So what have you done as far as acting and what do you have coming up?
Absolutely. So I when I first moved to LA, I was actually, we'll back up a little bit. I started getting opportunities, meeting people weirdly while I was in the Army. And I was like, all right, God, what are you trying to do here? Because I was going to go the Green Beret route, and I always worked with those guys, in a support element as a sniper. And I was going to go that route. And then I just kept meeting people. And right before I had my date to go back to Special Forces selection, I just started meeting some like people. I was like, all right, God, what are you trying to do here? Because you don't just come across these type of people. And I just, I was like, well, I'm only gonna be 21 once. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pull the trigger. The Army will be here and I can come back anytime I want, but LA won't be. So I pulled the trigger, moved there. And I was actually on set in China in 2020 when COVID broke out.
Wow.
I was 4 hours from Wuhan.
What?
Patient 2 in the room today.
I was not patient 0. I went through every probably biothermal scanner you can go through on the way back, and they made sure I was not patient 0. Yeah. But moved back, kind of figured out what the world was going to do. Moved back, and I was living in Belmont with a couple of friends.
Great spot.
Yeah, great spot. And was there for about 6 months, then moved to LA July of 2020. And then thankfully a couple years in, after I moved to LA with $200 on a Harley, put it in the back of a U-Haul trailer behind my buddy's SUV, moved there, slept on a friend's couch, and then just used my GI Bill to get in school and get an acting class, and just started figuring out what I didn't know. And that was a lot. It was pretty much everything. And then just started, I grew up in a local nonprofit theater company called Airway Productions, and singing and acting there, but nothing TV and film. So kind of got that experience. And when I got to LA, was on the grinds, just trying to get on set, doing stunts, doing football stunts, military stunts, just to try to get on set and know what it was like. And thankfully, a couple years later, a stunt coordinator got a job for a show called American Sports Story, the Aaron Hernandez drama.
Oh, yeah.
And they got the football contract for that, for doing the stunts. And they asked, hey, do you have any actors that are real football players that are transitioned to acting? Because this is an NFL show. We can't just hire somebody that's an actor and teach them how to run.
We want Justin out there,
right,
rolling around on the ground.
We don't want to teach somebody how to run. So you would be you would be surprised, man. It's like, all right, so I do one arm the same as my leg, But anyway, I ended up playing Wes Welker in that Aaron Hernandez show, and that was a really cool experience. Shot in New Jersey, New York, and Florida, out of Orlando. Got a really cool experience with that, and just really got a experience of what it's like to be a part of an ongoing project, not just like a high and by, do 2 lines. So that was awesome, and that opened up a few doors for me. Use that I had no management, nothing like that at that time. Was blessed enough to book that and then use that to get my management and went from there. And then about a year or so later, thankfully, I booked a. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it because I'm from India and stuff. So I booked Catherine Bigelow's next film after Zero Dark 30.
Oh yeah.
And she did Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, and then this is a White House drama with Idris Elba, Rebecca Ferguson, Anthony Ramos.
Thanks. So you're in it.
Very cool.
And some of the cast from Zero Dark 30. So got that coming up October 24th worldwide on Netflix, and then it's going to be a qualifying theater release in October. And then I have one of the Yellowstone spinoffs coming up in January called The Madison.
Thanks. So when I it started probably in high school where we thought it was funny, and now my wife just thinks it's annoying. I'll just look in the mirror and do like Anchorman quotes like back to myself all day. What do you do to like warm up? Like what do you?
Oh man,
what's your go-to?
I think for the most part it's about the character. Trying to get in that world. It's you gotta kind of embody that, and I listen to different types of music that I feel like that character would be into, and that kind of gets me in the zone and just. I think the process is different for everyone. And I think it's just like we all do. We figure it out as we go. If I told you I knew what I was doing every time, I'd be lying.
Brett Tomberlin, you can check him out, bretttomberlin.com. 95 Degrees is a song that's already out. He's got a new one coming out, new Netflix stuff coming out, new stuff coming out. Thanks for coming back to North Carolina, man.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Absolutely, anytime. Brett Tomberlin, check him out, bretttomberlin.com.
Tennessee, where